Irish guy, and right now everyone is making their Premier League teams of the season, right? Well, here's my worst team of the season. With a twist. I'm not picking any goalies. I mean, there's only one winner here. It would obviously be Ilan Meslier of Leeds. But no, this is strictly just 20 outfield players, and I can only pick one per team. And also, each player needs to play at least 20 Premier League games to qualify for this list. Otherwise, I'm just bullying bench warmers. But lads, this isn't strictly the worst footballers. No, I'm also factoring in height and the levels of expectations we had for these players last summer. So really, I suppose it's just a list of the most disappointing players, one per team. Right, let's go. Right back, Seamus Coleman, Everton. I love Seamus Coleman, and he is a leader who Everton need, but let's be honest, he's nearly 34 years old and a championship standard right back. The fact he's been wheeled onto a Premier League pitch 26 times this season, I mean, it's not fair on him. This is a guy who should probably be playing for his former club Blackpool, you know, tucking into a steak and kidney pie on a bus trip to Preston, not huffing and puffing against elite forwards. Watching him play now, when he's bumbling about like an overweight Teletubby, I mean, Christ, well, the poor guy's been on the losing side 16 times this season. I mean, this man, he can just about do a job as a centre back in a back three, yes. But anyone who still thinks he's got the legs to play a right back or on the wing, then sorry, clearly you've got Weetabix for brains. Right back, Matthew Lowton, Burnley. Rubbish. That's all there is to say on this one. Listen, Matthew Lowton has been a dependable right back for Burnley since 2015. But for the first half of this season, he was on the winning team once, when he scored against Brentford in a 3-1 win. Yeah, that was a brilliant match, but other than that, he just looked sloppy, defensively poor, and he's been replaced by Welsh right back Connor Roberts halfway through the campaign, who, by the way, has utterly outshone him. I'm sorry, Loughton, but if your own manager is having to desperately replace you with a guy from Swansea in January, it proves that you have not been good enough. Centre back Harry Maguire, Man United. Well, it didn't take long for Man United's representative to force his way to the team. I'm sorry, well, there's only one pick here. Listen, Harry Maguire is an £85 million captain of Manchester United. And yeah, he made a decent start of the season under Ollie. I mean, he was unbeaten in the first 5 games. It looked like Rafa Varane was actually going to hold his hand and morph him into a competent-looking Manchester United centre back. But no. Lads, he's been part of a Manchester United defence who've shipped at least 4 goals in one match, just the 5 times this season. This is a guy who's supposed to lead the dressing room in times of crisis, but he's clearly been swallowed whole by imposter syndrome. I mean, you really think this guy is the bottle to shout at Ronaldo in private? Someone who he probably grew up reading about at Match Magazine? No, he'd sooner beg him for a selfie in the toilets. Ozzy, Maguire, out of his depth. Brutal. Centre back Kagra Soyuncu, Leicester. Remember on Kagra Soyuncu was the clever Turkish upgrade on Maguire at Leicester City, right? Another transfer masterstroke by the club. Correct, over 2 years ago he's linked with an £80 million move to Man City. Well, now he's stuck around long enough for everyone to realise that actually, oh wait, he's just a walking toaster. According to the media in 2019, this guy was a world-class centre half. And now he's getting slaughtered by Troy Deeney in Match of the Day. Leicester City have been a defensive mess all season long. I'm guessing Brendan Rodgers has nightmares about set pieces. Soyuncu is a nearly 7-foot giant with the physique of a nightclub bouncer. So how come a corner kicks he's about as imposing as a grandma? He's played 41 games for Leicester this season. And 8 clean sheets. In all the minutes on the pitch that he has played, he has watched 65 goals fly past his goalie. 65! For the level of performance I expected from this guy, honestly, he's just been a disappointing pigeon. Centre back Jamal Lascelles, Newcastle. Eddie Howe has improved nearly every footballer at Newcastle United, making them unrecognisable from the utter dish towel egg McMuffin performances under Steve Bruce. But one player who he hasn't been able to save is the captain, Jamal Lascelles, who is surely getting dumped in the summer. Unlike the likes of Joe Willock or Ryan Fraser, Lascelles doesn't have 6 months of brilliant form under Howe to fall back on to wash away the brutal first few months under Bruce. So instead, I'm just judging him by those car crash displays before Christmas. And make no mistake about it, he was a wobbly penguin. Of course he's making the list. This is a Newcastle United captain who has started 20 Premier League matches this season and been on the winning side just 4 times. I mean, Dan Burn is nothing special really, but still, he has completely outshunned the club captain, making him look like Nottingham's answer to Titus Bramble. He's been absolutely brutal. And honestly, in the summer, I wouldn't be surprised if Steve Bruce takes him to West Brom. Centre back Ben Gibson, Norwich. Okay, Okay, I sort of learned to stop believing in Ben Gibson a long time ago. You know, a former Middlesbrough captain who back in 2018 was actually linked with a move to Manchester City. At one point he was Burnley's club record signing. I mean, imagine if he had it up at the Eddie had. I mean, pretty sure after one training session, Pep Guardiola would look like someone who's just realised that he accidentally ordered a bowl of dog food at a restaurant. This fella has been awful, oh so damn horrific. He's played 30 games, made defensive howlers, been in and out of the side, there's been 7-0 defeats, early relegation, just a big fat mess. This is the third different team he's played in the Premier League with. How does he keep getting chances? This guy's got Preston North End or Stoke slapped all over his face. Left back SERGIO REGUILON Tottenham. I remember last season when Jamie Redknapp nearly jumped at Roy Keane's throat because he dared to insinuate that SERGIO REGUILON might not actually be world class. Well, guess what lads? I'd imagine Roy Keane is now smiling on the toilet because look what's happened. Last season, SERGIO REGUILON genuinely looked like a world superstar left back under Jose Mourinho. I mean, he was the opposite of Luke Shaw. Someone actually flourishing when listening to Jose, instead of someone clearly tucking into 3 cheeseburgers on the way home from work every day. But this season, oh, Sergio has looked like a pretty cottage pie excuse of a defender under Nuno Espirito Santo. But ever since Antonio Conte has arrived, oh, it's gotten worse. He's being shoved on the left wing, where he's been made to look like he's got the fitness of Dumbo. Last season, he was a £100 million rated left back, but now he's lost his place in the team to Ryan Sessegnon, who I think everyone had written off as a big money disaster flop from Fulham. Aussie REGUILON, for a man wanting to break into Spain's team for the World Cup, this has been the season from hell. Left back Junior FIRPO Leeds. What is it with Barcelona dumping expensive fullbacks onto the Premier League when they're about as defensively sound as Chudok Muesli? Junior FIRPO is a £15 million arrival from the Nou Camp and is arguably one of the most woeful Premier League signings that Leeds United have ever made. Right up there on a level with Rocky Jr. I mean, he made his debut at Old Trafford when he came on at half time and helped his team concede 4 in 10 minutes. Since then, he's been violently terrible. He's only played in 20 league games, but for those 20 matches, Leeds have conceded 52 times. For some reason, he always gets picked to play the matches against the big 6 and consistently gets torn apart as if his legs were made of chicken nuggets. Just awful. Centre midfield, Shandon Baptiste, Brentford. I mean, I feel harsh picking any Brentford player really, because they've all been brilliant. None of them deserve to make it into this list. They really don't. But I suppose, I don't know, maybe Shandon Baptiste often looked pretty lightweight in midfield and has been absent for the complete turnaround of form where they won 5 out of 6 to stay up. So maybe him, I guess. Centre midfield, NIKOLA VLASIC, West Ham. NIKOLA VLASIC was supposed to be the guy who made West Ham forget all about Jesse Lingard, right? Sure, an Everton flop, yes, but he was a £30 million buy from CSK Moscow. This guy was the Croatian Dimitri Payet, right? Nah, he's been a flop. But why buy a number 10 to stick him on the left wing for 10-minute cameos? He's been poor, 1 goal in 18 matches, and he accidentally broke Ashley Westwood's leg. I'm sorry, but for a guy brought for £30 million, he's just been your typical West Ham big money flop. Centre midfield, James MILNER, Liverpool. Oh, okay. The answer here should be nobody. There is not a single person in Liverpool's entire squad who should even come within a polar bear's sneeze of any worse team. They've all been absolutely immense and club heroes. I mean, I'm choosing James Milner because he's been the least good, I guess, but even still. Even then I feel dirty because at 35 and after 20 games of Premier League football, he is still contributing to a title race. This man is inspirational. He's been playing in this league since 2002. And he still found time to control the midfield at Old Trafford in a 5-0 win when he's breathing down the neck of his 40s. I mean, Ryan Giggs did less than this when he won the PFA Player of the Year award. He is one of the best 25-year-olds I've ever seen. But I mean, who else am I gonna pick for Liverpool? I'm sorry, James, I feel exceptionally dirty here, but there's nobody else I can pick. Centre midfield, MOUSSA, SISSOKO, Watford. Oh, now we're talking. Absolute wet paper bag. MOUSSA SISSOKO is a Champions League finalist who should have walked into the Watford dressing room as a leader. After all, he's a guy who managed to rebuild his career at Tottenham. But I'm sorry, giving SISSOKO the captain's armband for a relegation battle. Complete disaster. Does nobody remember what at Newcastle he had the heart and determination of a headless Bobby doll? This guy should have been the marquee Premier League superstar, brimming with experience and leadership at Watford this season, but no, he's played every single minute of football since his second match. Not only has any of the 3 managers dared to drag him off the pitch or leave him on the bench, I mean, 2 of these managers were old men. Was he threatening to run over your grandkids in the car park? I don't care that he's got over 70 caps for France. He's just been part of an 11-game losing run at home. No hunger, no fight, just a wet lump of sandy garbage in a Watford shirt. terrible. Centre midfield, John McGinn, Aston Villa. This is a controversial one. Listen, John McGinn is still a good player, but if I bring expectation into this, then he's not having the season I thought he would. This is a Scottish box-to-box midfielder who should have kicked on after a decent Euro 2020, and especially learning under Steven Gerrard, I was expecting an evolution in midfield. But now, I mean, the £50 million links to Man United have all dried up, and it's mostly due to his average performances. First under Dean Smith, and now under Stevie G. It's been an inconsistent season for him, and the fact that he's languishing 13th in the league and just a couple of wins above the relegation zone. Again, it's not as if he's been terrible, but some Villa fans thought he's going to be the next Gerrard. Instead, he's just playing like a Joey Barton who's just spent a week at Burger King. Honestly, this version of McGinn wouldn't look out of place in Burnley's midfield. It's been pretty average. Forward, Jack Grealish, Man City. So, am I allowed now to call Jack Grealish one of the worst signings of football history? I'm sorry, but when you've got £100 million price tag, then I'm expecting about 10 goals and 15 assists in your debut season. It's not as if he's coming from Spain or Italy. He's been playing in the Premier League for years. Instead, his Premier League numbers are 2 and 2. Those are the same numbers of Scott Sinclair at Man City. This man has not been a difference maker at all. No, I'm sorry. He just looks like if you stuck Orlando Bloom in a Man City shirt and told him to avoid shampoo and showers for at least 3 months. Grealish has been a £100 million disaster. Forward, Nathan Redmond, Southampton. 24 games, 0 goals, as a winger, and he's chipped in with 5 assists. Yeah, I know he shows decent skill on the ball, but honestly, he's now got the end product of Theo Walcott. And the mad thing is, he's only 28. Honestly, Redmond's been around so long. To me, he just stinks of being 33 and bound for the championship via someone like Cardiff or Bristol City. Honestly, no goals by May for a 28-year-old. Very, very poor. Forward, Solly March, Brighton. Okay, lads, it's tough trying to squeeze a Brighton representative into this list, okay? They've all been playing well above their own individual ability, but maybe Solly March, I guess? I mean, this guy is part of the Brighton furniture, but again, he's been played out wide 28 times this season, 0 goals, 1 assist. I mean, that's it. Sure, he gets into the starting 11 most weeks, but he's got the end product of a bowl of porridge. Forward, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Arsenal. Okay, I'm breaking my rule. I know I said you have to play 20 times to qualify for this list, but still, no, there is only one answer for Arsenal. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was a school bag full of baggage, who Mikel Arteta was forced to carry on his back before Christmas. He played 14 times, scored 4 goals, went AWOL, moved to Barcelona for free, and then surprise, surprise, he's back to looking razor sharp and chipping in with 11 goals. But I'm sorry, before Christmas, those half-hearted, weak displays in London, get yourself in this team, you were a joke. And also, I had him in my fantasy league team for 3 months. More fool me. Right now, we've got professional waffler Piers Morgan saying how Mikel Arteta made a massive mistake in getting rid of Aubameyang. I'm sorry, what? Even Eddie Nketiah, someone who's got 1/8 of the ability Aubameyang does, even he's putting in more of a shift in 3 matches than Aubameyang did in the last 2 years. Honestly, awful. Centre forward, EDOUARD, Crystal Palace. Okay, maybe this is harsh because EDOUARD hasn't been terrible, but a £20 million Crystal Palace striker arriving from Celtic, I expected more than just 6 measly goals. Especially considering on his debut, he scored twice against Tottenham in just 6 minutes. I thought Palace had landed a coup. They snapped up the French Darren Bent. He was guaranteed goals, right? Look, he's had his moments, yes, but he's lost his place in the second half of the season, and mostly looked about as dangerous in front of goal as a bowl of steamed mouse. He has been decidedly average. Centre forward, Raul Jimenez, Wolves. Okay, here's the good news. Raul Jimenez is back playing every week for Wolves. Brilliant news that. We know he could have all wound up being the next Ryan Mason, but he's not the same player. I'm sorry, but the Jimenez I expected to see back was that fearless Mexican goal machine who scored 27 goals in his last full season for the club. I mean, he's 30 years old and has 6 goals this season. Oh yeah, and a stupid brainless red card at Man City which cost him the match. This fella should be Wolves' golden ticket. Their dream superstar who they can build a team around. But right now, he's struggling to keep his place in the team. It's all just a bit sad. Honestly, it reminds me of when Rocky Santa Cruz fell off the map. Centre forward, Romelu Lukaku, Chelsea. Yeah, the final pick in the list. Here is your Chelsea player. Arguably the most disappointing footballer in the Premier League this season. I mean, there was that £100 million price tag. He was everyone's pick to win the Golden Boot, and especially after such a brilliant start, but he doesn't fit in the team. I just like when Chelsea bought Andrei Shevchenko behind the manager's back. Lukaku is 5 goals in the league this season. Rise up, his last season at Man United was viewed as a disaster, and then he still scored 12. 5 goals is pitiful, and he's now been linked with moves to AC Milan and Newcastle. So I guess his stock is now in the same category as Olivier Giroud. For all the hype surrounding the guy who scored 64 goals in 2 seasons for Inter Milan, to then return to Stamford Bridge and nudge in 5 Premier League goals. I mean, he's 28. Drogba was doing that at 35. Christ above for Romelu. What a disaster. Anyway, that's what you think. And let me know in the comment section below, who do you think should have been in the worst Premier League squad of the season? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe. As always, I'll talk shit in a while.